Did you hear the story about the woman who wanted to be neighborly, so she lent her husband to the woman next door when the woman's husband died? So she knew the woman was grieving and she felt sad for her. So she said, if she needs anything, go ahead and help her fix the stuff around the house. Eventually, her husband was going over there regularly. He would spend an hour, then he would spend 2 hours. And finally, she said, hold up, I think you spend a little bit too much time at the neighbor house or something going on. And he was like, what? Are you crazy? No, she just needed help. She's by herself. Like, you said to do it. Like, why are you tripping? And she was like, okay, let me stop. So eventually, their visits started lasting 2 hours, 4 hours. And then sometimes he'll be there the entire day where she'll have to call him and ask him to come home. So she started feeling suspicious, but she didn't want to seem crazy. So she just let it go and just said, let's see how it play out. Eventually, he came to her and he said, well, my job is starting to send me on weekend trips away. I got to do business. And she's looking at him, what kind of business you got to do? This has never happened in your entire career. He's like, well, my job is sending me. And she said, okay. He goes away for his long weekend and she's feeling weird about it. So she goes to the neighbors and knocks on the door and there's no answer. The woman's gone. Every time he goes, the woman disappears too. So she says, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to call his job and I'm going to ask the boss, what's going on. I'm going to pretend like I can't find him. And she does, so I can't find him. He's not answering his phone. Where is he right now? I need to contact him. And the boss says, oh, well, I don't know where he is. In fact, he's been calling out a lot lately. He's on the verge of losing his job. And she was like, okay. So she says, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to catch him in the act. She puts an air tag in his truck so that next time he goes out of town, she'll see where he is. She tracks him 30 miles outside of town at a motel, and that's where he stayed for the weekend. Another knock on the lady's door, the neighbor's door. She's not there either. She's like, okay. Once he comes back with the truck, she's biding her time. She's not saying anything. And he goes into work. And while she's at work, she decides she's going to do something ultimate. She's going to sell his car. And she could sell his car because when he needed to buy it, he couldn't put it in his name. He put it in her name. So she had all the records and she could do everything herself. And she did that. When he came out and saw that his car was gone, he was like, babe, my car is missing. What's happening? And she told him, well, you know what? I sold your car. And he's like, why would you do that? And she said, well, I realized that you sleeping with this neighbor. If that's where you want to be, go ahead. She said she took the money from the sale of the car, put it as a down payment on her new house, and furnished the whole new house with the money from that car. She says she filed for divorce, and while she's going through it, she said she's feeling just fine. But how's he doing? She said he's not doing well, and she don't even care.